F1 drivers are no strangers to strong forces. They regularly have to withstand 5 Gs of force while under braking and cornering. When a spaceship launches, the astronauts experience around 3 Gs of force. When Max Verstappen crashed at Silverstone last year, he experienced 51 Gs of force. Despite all of this, the bouncing of porpoising is bringing the most complaints from drivers at the moment. So what are the effects of porpoising on the drivers and how are they surviving them? For some teams, it is far worse than others. Ferrari and Mercedes have been the worst sufferers so far, and the Silver Arrows have blamed the effect for their terrible start to the season. Ferrari have managed to survive it pretty well so far though. For the teams that have managed to either solve the problem or never really had it in the first place, the drivers are pretty chilled about things. Esteban Ocon is not overly worried, having felt that Alpine managed to get on top of the problem in the Bahrain test. On my side, in Barcelona, it was not a big issue, the Frenchman explained. Of course, there was a bit of porpoising, which we managed to get under control on my days in Bahrain. But for sure, yeah, the cars are much stiffer and you can really feel the bumps. So on the full day of testing, you might need to take a bit of paracetamol in the afternoon. Otherwise, you'll be fine. Ocon might be alright with a bit of paracetamol, but his car has definitely been one of the smoother ones. If he was sitting in the cockpit of a Ferrari, you'd think he would need something a little stronger. But Charles Leclerc didn't seem to be worried about what it was doing to his body. During testing, when he was asked about it, he considered whether the problem would be an issue over longer distance or not. "I'm pretty sure that I can expect to have a sore back after Sunday's race," Leclerc explained. "It's quite bumpy. It doesn't disturb me personally to drive with it, apart from probably the big braking is a bit trickier with these big bumps in the straights. But overall, it just hurts after 10 laps in the same conditions having these bumps. It gets quite tricky." Charles' comments were made much earlier in the season, so we would love to hear what he has to say now. If it was uncomfortable for him after 10 laps, it must be agonizing after 70. While the ride comfort of the Ferrari is poor, it's nothing compared to Mercedes. They're not only bouncing more on the straights than anyone else, but they're also bouncing through the high-speed corners. The combination of severity and length of porpoising on the drivers is starting to take its toll, as George Russell explained. "I think when the car's in the right window and the tyres are in the right window, the car, except for the bouncing, feels really good to drive," said Russell after finishing 4th in Imola. "But the bouncing really takes your breath away. It's the most extreme I've ever felt it. I really hope we find a solution, and I hope every team who's struggling with the bouncing finds a solution, because it's not sustainable for the drivers to continue with this level. This is the first weekend I've truly been struggling with my back, almost like chest pains from the severity of the bouncing. But it's just what we have to do to get the fastest lap times out of the car." With Russell really struggling with porpoising, the Mercedes team need to solve the problem soon before they lose a driver due to injury reasons. Pablo Clavel, a neurosurgeon who specializes in the spine and skull, had some things to say about what Russell's body is going through. "What is certain is that drivers will have to continue to train their cervical muscles intensively," said Clavel. "This type of repetitive bouncing head movement could lead to cervical ligament or disc injuries over time." Clavel pointed out the spine is subjected to excessive biomechanical stress, although they acknowledge drivers have highly trained cervical musculature. In layman's terms, the drivers have really strong necks and backs due to their normal training. Without the training of the back and neck muscles that F1 drivers do, it's unlikely that any of them would be able to survive the porpoising effect for a whole race, never mind 4 races. At this point though, it's only a matter of time before we start to see driver injuries. It's the job of the teams to resolve the porpoising with their own cars, and with many teams not suffering from porpoising, it's on Mercedes to save their drivers before it's too late. Let us know your thoughts on George Russell's concerns in the comments below. And while you're down there, please subscribe to F101 and I'll see you in the next video.